Okay, let's just get started, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, can you please give us an introduction of yourself, kind of what you're doing, who you are, background?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Mary Wei. I recently graduated from Weber Academy this June 2025. I am now a first year at the Rotman Commerce program in at the University of Toronto. And I am planning on specializing in finance and economics in my second year. Although for Rotman, it's pretty flexible. So in your first year, you don't really have to decide on what to specialize in yet. So that may change. And I'm also planning on maybe getting a math major or a math minor, but we'll see.
So are you gonna double major? Or is that like part of your plan?
That is the plan, but after my first math midterm, I'm not so sure. We'll see if I can lock in.
So yeah, well, I guess let's just branch off of your business aspect. What made you decide to, study and pursue business in college as opposed to, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
math, other specialties?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I guess like for me, it was never like even when I was in high school, I know a lot of people are very like stressed about their future and like what to pick since university is a very big decision. And I was one of those people because in high school I never really had like a passion or anything. So I think for me it was just I did take AP microeconomics and macroeconomics, and I felt that I was like really good at economics. I was good at those subjects. It wasn't that I was like worse at any other subjects. It was just it came more easily to me and it was more intuitive. So I thought I might want to do something related to economics, and that's why I ended up here.
So would you say taking those courses really kind of sparks your passion for this field of study?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. I think in high school, I think you should try out like a lot of different things, maybe like join a lot of different clubs, and then that will make it easier on you when you're deciding for university, I think.
And kind of going off of that, were you active in any clubs in high school or any extracurriculars that you participated in?
Yeah, yeah. I did the main one was I played flute for many years. I was the principal flute of Alberta Wind Symphony for a while, and that was a very good experience because I got to meet a lot of people. It's obviously not like necessarily related to what I'm doing right now, but I think like doing these opportunities in high school before you like decide to specialize in something is very valuable. I also played volleyball and I did debate.
Right. So
Yeah.
out of those extracurriculars, which one would you say kind of helped you kind of
Mhm.
go on this path of business? And is there any extracurriculars that you recommend for current high school students kind of going into business and commerce and finance?
Yeah. So, first of all, I think the thing that helped me the most was definitely debate because I really only started debate in grade 10, and before that, I wasn't a very good public speaker, and formulating my thoughts was like really difficult. But then when I started doing debate, it was a lot easier for me to speak in front of other people and kind of like present my ideas in a more coherent fashion. But one thing I would recommend that I didn't actually do in high school was participate in like DECA and case competitions and such. You don't really have to be like super good at them. It's just better to get experience when you're in high school. I recently did my first case competition this month, and I think it was a good experience and it was definitely valuable, but it would have definitely helped if I did more in high school
And if
to
you don't
get this
mind
experience.
me asking, what case study did you do?
We did a case study about Ferrari. Um, it was like I think the problem that Ferrari is facing right now is like as the world is transitioning more towards like electric vehicles, and like the EU has this new target to like reduce carbon emissions completely. So like how Ferrari is going to tackle that. That was basically the study.
Right. Okay. So in college, you would say these case competitions are more about problem solving real world kind of issues right now. And
Mhm.
so I'm assuming that, problem solving and critical thinking is extremely important in business especially. And
Yeah.
now that you kind of transition into college, what are some key differences that you noticed compared to high school?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's a lot more freedom, right? You don't really have someone like chasing after you. making sure you hand in your homework. You technically don't have to go to lectures or your tutorials. You can skip them. Like you can go to different ones. But I think, and also this like schedule is really unstructured. You might have your first lecture at like 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. every day. But what I've been doing is I've still been kind of like strict on myself because I think it's not good to start like missing lectures and things like that because then you'll be really behind. So I think it's a little bit harder to be motivated in college because there's no like real consequences until like you get your final back. So I think that's the main difference. Apart from that, there's way more opportunities to meet people, like way more events you can attend, way more clubs you can join. Yeah, I think that's the two main things.
Right. So as a business major, I'm assuming you guys have like lots of networking events, kind of get to know,
Yeah,
yeah, get access to the industry's internship opportunities, perhaps. Is
yeah.
that a direction you're kind of looking towards to kind of seek internships in your second and third year?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's good for business majors to go to networking opportunities. And for Rotman Commerce specifically, it's also kind of built into the program because if you look at something like engineering, their schedule is literally like you wake up in the morning like 9 to 5 and you're always doing something at the lab, right? But then for business majors, it's a lot less intense and like it's kind of built in that you should go to networking events and you should kind of start putting yourself out there. And there are a lot of resources to like help you start doing that here, I found. So yeah, I'm looking
Would you say,
to potentially get an internship. Yeah.
okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, like, what kind of firms are you looking at for internships?
Um,
You
Good
mentioned finance,
question.
so are you
I
kind
don't know yet.
of, I see
But
it.
yeah, I
I mean,
will see.
you have plenty of time to kind of decide the overall.
Yeah.
So would you say, the networking events, are they more like just everyone in a big conference room kind of getting to know each other, or is it more of like coffee chats with other people? Kind of what's the
hmm
structuring on that?
Yeah, it's a like mixture of all of those things because there's so many different events hosted by so many different like clubs and associations that like it really just depends on what you go to and there's a huge mix. But I would say that like for coffee chats and things like that, you kind of have to like initiate it yourself. You can't just like sit still because nothing will happen. So I think you really have to like put yourself out there. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
hmm
Um, yeah, okay. And another thing I wanted to kind of touch base on was your application process into Rotman.
hmm
I know that for many application processes, you have to add like supplemental essays, interviews, etc. So can you kind of educate us on how that process went?
Yeah, okay. So the good news is I think the supplemental for Rotman was actually like pretty, I don't want to say easy, but it wasn't very intense. So obviously like applying to university, like U of T, any university in Canada, you first put in your grades. And then that's basically it for like the main application process. And then for the supplemental, it was for me, it was a 1 hour like interview sort of thing. It was on a th like a program called Cura Talent. I think they started implementing it after COVID to make sure that you couldn't cheat or like use ChatGPT or something like that. So what it is um I forgive me if like this information is wrong. You can find it online if it is, but it's
Right.
like maybe three-ish video answers and then like three short essays. And then for Rotman, it was pretty light. Like it was like write 200 words in 10 minutes or like I don't actually remember how much it was, but it was like pretty simple. And then for the video interviews, they would ask you questions about yourself and like questions about business in general. And you would maybe have like 2 minutes to prepare and like 1 minute to speak. All of these details are obviously on the Rotman website. So that's why for me, debate actually did help a lot because I'm able to like formulate my thoughts and speak clearly, like faster. But even if you don't really have that much public speaking experience, it shouldn't be too big of a problem because for most of the kids applying to Rotman, it's like their first time having to like think of something on the spot and then like say it in a video interview, right? So I don't think it's too difficult to get into Rotman if your competitive entrance average is like decent, like above 92 or something like that. Yeah.
90%. And
Yeah.
obviously, we're not admissions officers here, but
Yeah.
know if Rotman kind of looks at your overall average, or do they look at select courses? And if they have preferences towards APs or like other extracurriculars that perhaps will give you more of an edge when you're applying?
I think when you apply to Rotman specifically, it's mostly just your grades, and what they do require is English and calculus. I think those are the most important ones, and then I'm not really sure. I think they either look at your grades holistically or like they pick the best few. I'm not sure how that specifically works, but for Rotman, it's mostly GPA and the interview. But then like extracurriculars and clubs are and things are still really good to have in high school, so you can have experience, and then talk about those things in your interview. It's really good to have business experience. And then I found that the extracurriculars I did and the like leadership and volunteer hours didn't really help me get into university, but it really helped me get like scholarships and things like that. So I think for Canadian universities, that's generally the trend. Like grades are the main thing that will get you into university, and then like the other stuff is just like what gets you scholarships and like things like that. It just looks good on your resume.
100%. And for Rotman, in terms of extracurriculars, are they kind of looking for leadership opportunities or leadership experiences, or are they looking at kind of like, dedication, consistency, kind of staying in the club for a long time, and really just
Mhm.
helping create a social impact, or are they looking for like, competition wins and
Mhm.
founding businesses, nonprofits, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, again, it does depend on the club, but I think it's really good to have like experience in business if you're applying to ramen clubs, and also if you're applying to like the case competition team, for example, it's good to have done case competitions before. They say that like some people that are senior members on the team like never did any case competitions in high school. But for some ramen clubs, they're very like selective and like exclusive. So really the only way to get in sometimes is to have like a coffee chat with one of the like senior members of the club, or like as in the case with the case competition team, there's like literally three stages to the interview, so it's a lot to prepare. So it's stuff, it's very like competitive. But then I would say not even like ramen specific clubs, like other clubs at U of T in general are like they really like ramen students, because usually ramen students don't really go to like join clubs outside of ramen. But then like um if it's probably easier to get like a leadership position if you join like a general like quant finance club as opposed to the ramen one. So yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, and for these clubs, perhaps like what are some of the benefits of joining these clubs? And as you mentioned, seeking leadership opportunities within these communities as well.
Yeah, like first of all would probably be networking. I think you meet a lot of people through joining clubs. And although like I personally am not part of like any ramen clubs, I still attend a lot of the events hosted by these clubs because they're usually like open to all ramen students. And it's really nice to like meet a lot of people that are in your program, because like you end up seeing them like at lectures or just literally just walking down the street. You end up seeing a lot of people. Like sometimes you see people that were like cracked in high school at case competitions, and then they yeah, and they when you see them more, like they can help you with things. And I think it's just good to like make a lot of friends. Like, okay, literally I made my LinkedIn maybe like 2 weeks ago, and I already have like 200 something connections just from going to events at ramen. So yeah, it's very nice for networking.
Right. So you kind of meet new people, get new friends.
Hmm.
And I
Hmm.
just wanted to ask, in Rotman and U of T itself, like what's the atmosphere like? What's,
Yeah.
the life like, the work-life balance, if it's, really rigorous or if it's, manageable if you position yourself correctly.
Okay, so I did get pretty good grades in high school. Um, and I would say that for Rotman specifically, because I am getting a double major, like I am also doing like very difficult math courses. And in comparison to the math courses that I'm doing, the Rotman ones are very free.
Okay.
But I would say it's not so rigorous if you're like a business student. And I think this applies to um like across a lot of universities as opposed to like Eng or something. Um, it's definitely not as intense. And I think that's designed again to have like more free time in your schedule so you can attend like networking events and stuff like that. So I wouldn't say it's too academically challenging, but I mean that's like coming from me.
Right.
So I feel like you need to be like obviously still like a certain degree of smart to get into Rotman and like succeed. Yeah.
You were super cracked in high school, that's what you're saying. Um, yeah, kind of like going even more in depth. What's your schedule like, in Rotman? Are your classes, do you get to pick when your classes are, or are they kind of like, assigned? And also, I just wanted to ask about your residence situation. I see you're in your dorm or apartment.
Yeah.
Options are for that.
Yeah, yeah. So, first on the schedule thing, I guess. So for U of T students, basically what happens is over the summer, there's this certain day where first years can start enrolling in their courses. And course enrollment is kind of crazy. You kind of have to pick like courses. So you have like these required courses, right? And then you pick them to fit your timetable. And then sometimes they fill up, or sometimes you don't like a prof, and then all the good prof spots are gone. But I would say it's like very flexible. So for me, for my schedule, um, I maybe only have like 2 to 3 things to go to a day. So I'm never like doing school for more than like 4 hours a day, I would say. And then none of my lectures start at 9 a.m., which is good because waking up in high school at 7 a.m. is easy, and then you get to university and you have to wake up at 9 a.m. and it's insane. But yeah, so comparatively, the ramen schedule is like very I can show you right now if you want. This is my
Okay.
schedule.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
on my home screen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so the blocks are like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's and then you look at the end one and it's crazy. But yeah. Um so I and then there's like some flexibility as well. Like you some professors will allow you to go to different lectures, so if you miss something, it's not that big of a deal.
okay.
Um, and then as for the residence situation, I am living in an apartment, so like I'm technically commuting, but my apartment is like kind of on the border of U of T, so it's not so bad, and I can like walk to all my classes. It takes like what 25 minutes max to walk to the farthest edge of U of T, so it's not very bad. There are like apartments around U of T that you can definitely live in, and that's what a lot of like upper years do. Um, but I have a lot of friends that are living in residence, obviously, and for residents, I think some of them like don't get into their desired residence, so they might be like a bit farther from their classes, but all first years do get guaranteed residence in first year. And then it depend the how good the residence is honestly depends on your college. So I think you should like research that before you pick what you want to do. Um, I would say that like pick colleges based on how much you like the residence and also like maybe scholarship opportunities and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So,
you mentioned scholarship opportunities. I haven't
mhm,
really looked into what that process is like and kind of what opportunities these there are. So can you kind of explain
mhm.
that as well?
Yeah. So applying to U of T, like in the application portal, there's this section for an awards profile. You basically just dump all your extracurriculars, all your volunteer hours, all your leadership stuff in there, and then you're automatically considered for every award. Should I tell you if I got an award? Like, do you
Um,
want to,
I
is
mean, if
that,
you feel comfortable sharing, this
I
is
can share.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I got to search it up. Sorry.
all right.
The Fairfax Financial Award, which is $6,000 per year.
Oh wow,
So
that
like for 4 years, I think that's 24K. And
significant.
then yeah, and then upon entrance, I also got I think it was like President's Choice Award or something
Oh
like that, just
wow.
based on the GPA. Um, just because my GPA was high and that was like $10,000. I think I had an average of like 98.5 5 or something. I never really calculated it, but
That's
it was very high. And then like plus the Alberta diploma boosts your grade by like 4% or something. I don't know.
right.
So yeah, if you did get good grades in high school, you can get scholarships, but then like don't fret if you didn't because there's like plenty of other opportunities. And then for some of them, they mostly look at like leadership and things like that. Um, and then there's also scholarship opportunities with like your college specifically, depending on like what college you're in. So for U of T, there's a bunch of different ones. And then for Rotman, there are like Rotman specific scholarships, but you really only start applying to those for like year 2, year 3, and year 4. So then I'll be applying to those next year.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's super impressive. 30
Thank you.
close to $30,000 throughout your college process.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Also, wait, this is like if you're publishing this for like Alberta students, there's the Alexander Rutherford Scholarship, which is like given out by the Alberta government. It's like 2.5K. I think if your average is above 80 something, maybe 85, you can get it. So like
yeah,
you
that's
should apply to that. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Right,
Yeah.
perfect. We'll put that on the screen. And one last thing I kind of wanted to touch base on was what the campus is like. You're in the
hmm
St. George campus, so what is that like? Is it, more of a city environment or is it isolated? And, is it convenient, etc.?
Yeah, it's definitely more of a city environment. Where I live, like I'm like 5 minutes away from like a TNT
Oh,
and like also Chinatown. There's a lot of restaurants here, way more than Calgary. I've had so much good food. Yeah, I think it's more of like a city kind of atmosphere. And then there's also like a park near the college and it's pretty nice, I would say. So yeah, like for U of T, like you can walk to the mall basically
oh,
from U of T in like 20 minutes. So yeah, depending where you are, obviously.
right.
And then it's not like UBC, for example, where you're kind of isolated and it's just like a town by itself because U of T is like downtown Toronto, right?
Oh, wow.
So like you hear sirens at night and stuff, but yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like very urban.
Okay, yeah, no, I actually have a campus tour planned later on next.
hmm
Is there like any, buildings or anything I should check out?
Buildings. I
Buildings,
think,
spots, etc.
yeah. Wait, so you're coming next month?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, wait, I'll,
I'll hit
I'll see
you
if
up.
I can,
Yeah,
yeah.
we'll link up.
Okay. Buildings. I don't really know any niche ones since I've been here a month, but I think the obviously like the main university college building is cool. And then I really like Robarts Library. It's this very, very, very big library with like 14 floors. And then I go there a lot to study with my friends. But then like across U of T, there's so many different libraries and there's so many things that you can access with your T card. Like you can like go to the gym. Like it's all included in your tuition, like
Okay.
athletics, things like that. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can do.
Is the big library you said, is it like the really big brutalistic one that looks like a peacock?
Yes,
Or
it
like a
is.
building? Yeah, no, I saw that a
You
couple.
should go see. I'll
Yeah,
see if
yeah.
I can sneak you in.
Okay, perfect.
Sorry, can you repeat the name of the library?
Robarts, Robarts.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. Oh yeah. Tuition wise, um,
hmm
if how much is tuition for ramen
Yeah.
a year?
Yeah, I think there are specifications on the like website. There's a document, but you kind of have to dig to find
Okay.
it.
Okay.
For out of province specifically, it was like about 9.5K for first year, and then for the subsequent years, I think it goes up to like 20K each year because like of the specialist. But then, if you're from within Ontario, I think it's like 6 or 7K. Um, And then for international students, it's like obviously a lot more expensive.
Right.
But for out of province specifically, it's not so bad. Like when you compare it to like McGill or like Quebec universities, it's like a lot cheaper.
Okay, yeah. And did
Yeah.
you apply to any of those, McGill, UBC, all the other colleges, sorry, universities?
So yeah, I actually got my Rotman acceptance before the supplemental deadline for like Queens and like Ivy, so I just didn't apply. But I did
to
I
plan
did
on?
apply to University of Calgary and University of Alberta.
Yeah.
I don't know if you wanted me to talk about those or if
Uh,
it's
yeah, I guess you can briefly touch base
yeah.
on the process.
Yeah, yeah. For U of A, it was like, and U of C, you basically just put your grades in.
Okay.
And then, yeah, but same thing again for scholarships. You kind of have to write more about like your leadership, but they all kind of ask the same type of question. So what I would recommend is like start, you know how in comm like they make you do a resume chart? Like
Yeah.
actually keep updating that because
Oh,
it
okay.
was really easy for me to like do my scholarship stuff because I could just copy paste what I did in high school and then it didn't take me a long time to think about it and find everything. Yeah.
Right. So your process into university was super, efficient and smooth.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Plus the scholarships as well.
I
But
think you guys will not have a hard time either if you're only applying Canadian universities. It's not so bad. Yeah.
okay. Oh, well, sorry, one last thing. You touched base on how the Alberta diploma actually gives you a slight boost. Is that like confirmed or is that more of just like a rumor that goes on?
I think it's confirmed.
Okay.
But I don't know. I haven't like seen it on any official websites. I
Okay.
do know that like universities like Alberta applicants because the Alberta curriculum is harder than other provinces. And even the people I've met from Calgary at U of T, there's not that many, but I think all of them are pretty smart. So yeah.
I mean, to get into, a top university like UT, you have to, have some prerequisite traits and stuff. And would you like have anything additional to say about, your overall experience or just anything in general regarding this the university or your career or sorry, major?
Like just anything in
Yeah,
general.
yeah, just any additional thoughts that you maybe have that we didn't really discuss.
Um, I don't really think so. I guess one thing is like when I guess one thing is like because since I'm not living in res, it's like a little bit harder for me to make friends, I would say, because when you do live in res, like you're with your roommates all the time. But then the downside of living in res is if you don't like your roommate. So it's kind of, yeah, it's kind of like that. But I think if you don't live on res and you choose to commute, it's good to go to a lot of like social events and stuff and like try to hang out with your friends more.
Is the
Yeah.
party clubbing scene in East Toronto big?
So I I think so. I don't really party much because math is kind of
It's
cooking
okay.
me right now.
Locking for school.
Yeah, I do need to lock in. I think, yeah, there are some like rumors going around about like frats being like dangerous,
Oh
but
yeah.
then some people say that it's like frats spreading rumors about other frats because it's a competition.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like for the people that do go to parties, I've heard like good things, and it's very like the people here aren't like mean in general. So yeah, it's good, easy to make friends, I would say.
I guess enhancing the college experience overall.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I've touched on all the points that I kind of wanted to discuss. Harris, if you have anything you wanted to add on.
No, I think we covered a lot, like 2.5 pages of
Okay.
Really?
stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
starting as well. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and Mary, I just want to say thank you so much for taking your time out of the day during midterm season as well. I know it's super rough preparing for everything, especially math.
Dude,
And
after my math midterm, I don't even care about any of my other ones.
everything
I'm just kidding.
everything else.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yikes. Yeah. Oh, I was like, I never really got below 95 on a test in high school. I genuinely don't think I passed. So I guess that's another thing. Um, like sometimes you have to like kind of swallow your ego in uni because
Okay.
sometimes things like are difficult and you just have to like adapt, I would say.
No, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm sure you did pretty good considering your high school track record.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, okay, perfect. I guess I won't keep you any longer. Thank you again for,
Mhm.
agreeing to this. Super insightful, and you'll probably, help a lot of high school students like myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, 100% would hit you up if I'm in Toronto.
Yeah, okay. If you
Well,
guys
let's see. So
need like anything, like any help with like, I don't know, applications later on, like just send me a DM.
perfect. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, of
Okay,
Thank you
course.
so much, Mary.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. I guess I'll see you sometime next month.
Yeah, I can see you next month. Bye
Okay, perfect. Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
Harris. Thank you, William.